So you want to learn a language, right? But what's the best way to do it? I mean, what does the science actually say? We're going to cut through all the noise, all the marketing, and get right to what the research tells us. You know that feeling, right? When you start learning a language, it's like you're dropped into the middle of a giant maze. There's an app for this, a method for that, everyone's got advice. It's just so easy to get completely lost and not know which way to turn. And what are the walls of this maze made of? Well, they're built from all those questions we ask ourselves. You know, you see someone pick up a language super fast, and you think, man, do I just not have the language gene? Or maybe you worry, am I too old for this? These doubts, they can totally stop you in your tracks before you even get going. But here's the good news. There is a map out of this maze. Seriously, after years and years of research, scientists have actually found a clear path. We just need to know how to read it. And you know what's cool? All that complicated sounding research, it actually boils down to something really simple. It all points to just three key ideas. Three ideas that are going to be your guide out of that maze and get you on the path to actually making progress. Yup, that's it. Just three. This is our map. Think of it like the trifecta of language learning. These are the three pillars that pretty much all the experts agree on. This is what really works. Okay, let's unfold this map. Pillar number 1 is context. And trust me, getting this one idea can completely change the way you think about learning a language. So what is context? Well, it's realizing that a language isn't some boring school subject like history or math. It's not just about memorizing a huge list of words and grammar rules. No way. A language is a social tool. It's something you do with people. It's all tied up in culture. Here's a great way to think about it. You're not just memorizing the rule book. You're actually learning how to play a new social game. It's all about figuring out how to connect with people and be part of a whole new community. And that idea of playing the game leads us right into pillar number 2, which is all about taking action. It's so simple, but so powerful. You have to learn by using the language. So, this means we've got to shift our thinking, stop just collecting words, and start doing stuff with them. You know those people who seem to have a special knack for languages? It's not magic, I promise. It's just that they're always trying to do real things with the language they're learning. Okay, let me give you a super simple example. Instead of just memorizing a list of food words from an app, you learn the actual phrases you need to, say, order a coffee. Then, and this is the important part, you actually go to a cafe and you try it. When you walk out of there with a coffee you ordered in another language, man, that's a real skill. You didn't just memorize a word, you did something. All right, and that brings us to our third and final pillar. This is the one that really ties it all together. Interaction. Now, don't get me wrong. Listening to music or reading books in the language you're learning, that stuff is great. It's really important input. But the most powerful learning isn't passive. It's not something that just happens to you. The real magic happens when you're in an actual back and forth conversation. So why does that work so well? Because it's active. You have to think fast, right? You've got to understand what the other person is saying and then figure out how to reply. It forces your brain to really work to get your message across. And you know what? This is like a superpower that works for anyone, at any age. Okay, so let's recap. We've got our 3 pillars: context, use, and interaction. That's the map. But how do you actually use this map for your own journey? Well, this is where it gets personal. You've got to ask yourself one simple, honest question. What do you actually want to do with this language? And I'm not talking about some vague goal like, I want to be fluent. No, I mean, what are the specific, real-life things you want to do? Because believe me, your goal changes everything. Let's say you just want to have casual chats with new friends. Well, then you're going to focus on slang, common phrases, and probably watch a lot of TV shows. But what if you need it for work, to write professional emails? Totally different. Then you're going to need formal vocabulary and lots of writing practice. See? Your goal literally defines your learning path. All right, so we've talked about the science, we've got our map with the 3 pillars. So what's the real secret? The one big thing that ties it all together? It's actually surprisingly simple. The best method is whatever method you genuinely enjoy. That's it. Why? Because if you actually like doing it, you're going to keep doing it. And that is the absolute key. Consistency. That's the real secret sauce. Look, Doing something fun for 15 minutes every single day is way, way better than forcing yourself to study for 2 miserable hours once a week. The method that works is the one you actually stick with. And when you find that thing you enjoy and you start doing it consistently, something really amazing starts to happen. You realize you're not just like downloading a new skill to your brain. You're actually opening up a whole new way of seeing the world, a new way to understand people, and honestly, a new way to understand yourself. So, I'm going to leave you with this one last question to think about. Are you just trying to learn a skill, or are you ready to start a real journey? Because when you see it as a journey, well, that changes everything.